Ethan wakes up, makes coffee, and smiles at his brokerage account. $3,000 in dividends arrived right on schedule. No overtime, no alarms. A decade ago, he was broke. Not living in a van broke, but checking the gas tank broke. Financial freedom was a dream for others. He used to believe in the 40-year work grind, stuffing cash into a 401k for a glimmer of life at 65, hoping the market cooperated. Seeing coworkers stressed about the same grind made Ethan question if the retirement playbook was rigged. The system wants you dependent. Instead of chasing trends like Tesla or crypto, Ethan built his own money printer, a portfolio that paid him just to exist. At first, he didn't even know where to start. He typed passive income into YouTube and got hit with a flood of scams. Then he stumbled on an interview with an old-school investor talking about dividends. The guy said, "The rich don't sell their assets to live." Ethan realized retirement doesn't have to be this far-off finish line. It could be a cash flow problem. He opened a brokerage account that same night. The next morning, he funded it with his first $500. No grand plan, just $500 and a promise. But here's what nobody told him. Dividend investing isn't about chasing high yields. It's about finding companies that share profits with you. He started simple. A single ETF, SCHD, the Schwab U.S. Dividend Equity ETF. Reliable companies like Pepsi and Chevron. The yield? Around 3.5%. Those companies had raised their payouts for years, even during recessions. That consistency was worth more than hype. Every month, he added another $500. The first year, his account paid him a measly $200 in dividends, but he didn't care. Every dollar bought another fraction of a share, which produced more dividends, buying more shares, and creating an invisible, inevitable growth. By the end of year 2, income was about $450 annually. Ethan did some math. Adding $500 a month and a 10% yearly growth could mean thousands down the line. The realization struck him hard. The game isn't about home runs, but about not striking out. So he doubled down. Ethan chose to add VNQ, the Vanguard Real Estate Index Fund, giving him tiny ownership slices of hundreds of income-producing properties. Real estate income behaves differently. When tech dips, rent still comes in. VNQ carried the load during SCHD's slow patches. After 3 years, his portfolio hummed with a combined yield of around 3.8%, crossing $1,500 in annual income. Momentum was building. He called it the quiet compounding stage, the years when nothing exciting seems to happen, yet everything important is. Most people quit here. They look at a few $100 a year and think, this will take forever. But Ethan understood something crucial. Compounding doesn't reward enthusiasm. It rewards time. Years 1 to 3 are the foundation. Years 4 to 7 are the explosion. Instead of backing off, he increased his monthly contribution to $750, then $1,000. Around year 4, he found his accelerator, a higher yield ETF named Div. Its yield? 6+%. He only allocated 20% of his portfolio to it. Think of it as turbo mode, powerful, but not always safe. By the end of year 5, His portfolio was generating about $5,000 a year, roughly $400 a month. He didn't touch the principal. He let the machine run. The more he earned from dividends, the less pressure he felt at work. It was like financial oxygen. He picked up small freelance gigs, 5 hours a week tops, and funneled all that money into the portfolio. Instead of upgrading his car or renting a bigger apartment, he locked his expenses and invested the entire raise. Ethan's habit of freezing his lifestyle while his income grew separated him from others stuck in the rat race. By year 6, his dividend income hit $8,000 a year. By year 7, $12,000. The snowball was rolling downhill. He added Noble, the ProShares S&P 500 Dividend Aristocrats ETF, companies that don't panic. The dependability was priceless. Ethan also added NUDV, an ESG-focused dividend ETF, capturing sustainability-driven businesses, yielding around 5%. His portfolio looked like a perfectly tuned symphony, every instrument playing its part in harmony. SATC-D handled steady growth, VNQ added real estate stability, Div brought acceleration, NOBL ensured safety, and NUDV offered future upside. Together, they produced a yield hovering around 4.2%. That meant every $100 invested spun off $4.20 in cash each year. Ethan got clever. Instead of auto-reinvesting dividends, he started building a dry powder fund. By year 9, with consistent $1,000 monthly contributions, his projected annual dividends crossed $25,000. 1 year later, $35,000, roughly $3,000 a month. 10 years earlier, that kind of money felt impossible. Now it arrived automatically. The principal kept growing, the income kept flowing, and the machine he built in his 30s was now self-sustaining. This wasn't magic. Ethan didn't manifest his way to financial independence. He made trade-offs. Every boring choice was fuel for freedom. While everyone else was buying new toys, Ethan was quietly buying more shares of his future. The person who starts small today will almost always beat the person who waits for the perfect time, because perfect never comes. At 45, Ethan didn't need his job anymore. His dividends covered his bills, and his time finally belonged to him. Financial freedom isn't a lottery ticket. It's a series of small, boring decisions repeated long enough to look like genius in hindsight. The funny thing about freedom is that it doesn't announce itself. It just arrives quietly, almost awkwardly. For Ethan, it happened on an ordinary Tuesday. He made coffee, logged into his brokerage account, and something felt different. The dividends crossed a threshold. They weren't just numbers anymore. They covered his entire cost of living. He wasn't grinding hours for paychecks anymore. His investments were paying him, whether he showed up or not. Ethan's biggest win wasn't financial. It was psychological. He stopped feeling like a worker and started feeling like an owner. There were moments of doubt, big ones. During year 6, the market dipped hard. His portfolio dropped nearly 15% in value, and headlines screamed about recessions and rate hikes. Friends told him to sell and wait it out. Then he remembered something his dad used to say. If you planted a tree, you wouldn't dig it up every time it rained. So he didn't. He kept investing. While others panicked, he deployed his dry powder fund, buying more shares of SCHD and VNQ. Within a year, the market rebounded and his income rose faster than ever. He realized that volatility wasn't the enemy. Emotion was. He learned that building wealth isn't about being brave once. It's about being patient hundreds of times. When his paycheck hit his account, it didn't feel like income anymore. It felt like ammo. Every dollar had a job to buy more freedom. He stopped chasing quick wins. Instead of thinking, how can I make more money this month? He asked, how can I make more money forever? That mindset shift changes everything. The first version of Ethan, the one struggling at 30, thought of money as fuel that runs out. Now, he thought of it as a seed that multiplies. He realized wealth isn't built by doing extraordinary things once. It's built by doing ordinary things consistently. As his portfolio crossed $800,000, Ethan decided to experiment turning off dividend reinvestment for 1 quarter. The results? Nearly $9,000 in cash deposits without selling a single share. He realized this is what people mean when they say their money works for them. Ethan still worked part-time consulting, enjoying helping small businesses. They think I'm doing them a favor, but I'm collecting future dividend fuel. This isn't a get-rich-quick path. It's a get-free-slowly path, aligning your spending, habits, and patience with math. Ethan's journey wasn't a mystical secret or quick formula. He bought ownership in great businesses, reinvested profits, and remained disciplined. What set him apart wasn't chasing flashy stocks or high yields, but pursuing harmony between growth and income. Every holding had a purpose. Some paid now, while others promised more later, creating a steady growth machine in the background. About a third went into steady growers like SCHD. Another chunk into VNQ's real estate income, powering up through Div's high yield. Each piece played a role like instruments in an orchestra: growth, stability, acceleration, protection, innovation. The longer Ethan invested, the more he realized traditional financial advice was wrong. He didn't need millions to retire. When asked if he was scared of a crash, he'd smile and say, "No, I'm waiting for it." A crash was a clearance sale. By year 10, Ethan's money printer had evolved into a full-blown ecosystem. The principal had grown past $830,000. The blended yield hovered around 4.2%. That meant over $35,000 in annual dividends, about $3,000 per month. If he let those dividends grow at just 8% a year, they'd double roughly every 9 years. He spent more time outdoors and started mentoring younger coworkers who were where he once was. There were months when dividends dipped or markets wobbled. He learned about tax-efficient strategies. Even after taxes, his net passive income stayed well above his living costs. That margin gave him options. Freedom isn't about never working again. It's about never being forced to. Ethan's story wasn't built on luck, genius, or timing. It was built on behavior. When everyone else was scrolling social media, he was automating deposits. When others were speculating, he was compounding. Ethan said, "You can steer a parked car." 10 years in, Ethan's story is about identity. He lets money work for him now. Every deposit is a reminder of a decision he made when nobody else believed. The real payoff is the peace. What about you? Are you waiting for your boss to decide when you can take a vacation? You don't need $10,000. You don't even need $1,000. Start with $50, one ETF, one tiny piece of ownership. Don't overthink it. Don't try to time it. Just give your future self a fighting chance. Every year you wait, you're not just losing potential returns. You're losing compounding time, the one thing you can never buy back. You could be the one logging into your account, smiling at another dividend deposit, realizing that the system doesn't own you anymore. If you're ready to build your own machine, start today. Invest small, stay consistent, and never stop compounding.